The Great Freedom March, seeking the resolution of the Kurdish issue and Abdullah Öcalan's freedom, progresses through Kurdish majority areas in Turkey, drawing significant local support and calls for peace. Over 100 Syrian groups have demanded global action to aid those affected by ongoing Turkish shelling in north and east Syria, highlighting critical humanitarian needs. Pro-Kurdish activists Mark Campbell and Beratan Silamani convicted for displaying a PKK-associated flag in the UK, raising questions on freedom of expression and the influence of UK-Turkey relations on the legal system. Efforts to establish a migrant returns deal between the UK and Turkey collapse as the Home Office determines it unsafe to return asylum-seeking Turkish nationals. Learn more with Media News. The Great Freedom March, aimed at addressing the Kurdish issue and seeking the physical freedom of Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan, entered its second day, moving through the Kurdish majority regions of Turkey. Participants, including politicians and representatives from democratic mass organizations, journeyed from Van to Hakkari's Shemdinli district and were welcomed with slogans advocating for resistance in prisons. The marchers, adorned with vests reading Freedom March, gathered with locals in city centres promoting peace and democracy. The march received a warm reception in Shemdinli, where pro-Kurdish People's Equality and Democracy or DEM party members and citizens joined in support, echoing calls for an end to isolation and immediate peace. Zeki Ermez, a DEM party MP from Shirnak, emphasised the march as a peace and democracy initiative, underlining the ongoing isolation imposed on Öcalan for 35 months. He stressed the need to break this isolation for peace prospects in Turkey. In Kars, DEM party MP Nuroz Usal reflected on the history of massacres in the Republic's past, pledging to continue the struggle for life against such atrocities. More than 100 Syrian organizations issued a collective plea on Thursday for international intervention to mitigate the hardships faced by communities in north and east Syria due to Turkish attacks. This appeal comes in the wake of extensive Turkish shelling that has ravaged cities and towns across these regions, inflicting significant damage on infrastructure and civilian assets, and leading to numerous injuries. The groups emphasised the urgent need for a concerted effort to restore essential services and foster long-term recovery and stability in the area. The bombardment by Turkey in mid-January, particularly targeting zones under the control of the Democratic Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria, has precipitated a dire humanitarian crisis. Vital services such as the gas, water and electricity supply have been severely disrupted. The attacks are ongoing, with a Turkish drone targeting an Asayish centre in Kamishli, killing 4 members of the internal security forces and injuring another on Friday. The assault occurred amid an anti-ISIS operation by security forces in Al-Hol camp, raising concerns that Turkey's attacks are putting the fight against ISIS at risk and contributing to destabilisation in the region. A British pro-Kurdish rights activist and a Kurdish activist were convicted in London on Tuesday for displaying a flag associated with the Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK. Mark Campbell and Beratan Silamani faced conviction under the Terrorism Act 2000 for displaying a flag linked to the PKK, raising questions about freedom of expression and the influence of UK-Turkey relations on the British legal system. Campbell, expressing dissatisfaction with the outcome, stated, "The judge seemed to accept our arguments, but, sadly, in his verdict, he seemed not confident enough to challenge the government's policy." He criticised the politicisation of UK laws in favour of Turkey. "We will be lodging an appeal to a higher court," Campbell added. Campbell, who previously contributed to Media News, spoke to Matt Broomfield in an exclusive interview, in which Campbell highlighted some of the broader political issues at stake.
Obviously, everybody knows that without the decriminalisation of this Kurdish issue, there's going to be continued war. There's not going to be the opportunity for a peaceful resolution of the issue, which is more needed now than ever before. Turkey cannot continue to treat the Kurdish issue as an issue of security and treat it in a military way. At some point, it's got to realise that there has to be a political solution to it.
Yeah.
The UK Home Office has determined that returning asylum-seeking Turkish nationals to their homeland would be unsafe due to prevailing human rights issues, thwarting a critical component of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's immigration policy, specifically aimed at reducing the influx of migrants by small boat. This decision emerged amid efforts to forge a migrant returns agreement with Turkey, akin to a successful arrangement with Albania, to address the sharp rise in Turkish migrants reaching the UK illegally. Last year, Turkish nationals constituted the third largest group arriving by small boats, with figures soaring by 162% from the previous year, highlighting the urgent need for such an agreement. However, an internal review by the Home Office labelled Turkey as unsafe, citing the state's overzealous enforcement of anti-terrorism laws, lack of judicial independence, and allegations of torture, which predominantly affect political dissidents. These findings pose significant challenges to Sunak's broader migration policies, including contentious plans related to the Rwanda bill and adherence to European Court of Human Rights or ECHR rulings.